Very good evening, everyone. This is Akhilesh this side, and today is our third video. The third video is about how do we build a sales pipeline in Zoho CRM. And we are not talking about just plainly building a Zoho CRM pipeline. We are talking about creating a system that will drive your revenue visibility. Understand that we are going to talk about building a revenue visibility. Okay, so what we are going to do? We are going to build your pipeline today, and the way we are going to build it is going to give you a very visible process of how much money is going to come in, what is the revenue you're going to build. Okay, so I will just give you a little bit of history or the thought process behind it. Okay, so in my career, I have walked into businesses doing crores of revenue and still tracking their entire sales pipeline on Google Sheets or Excel. So there are like 500 leads, 600 leads. There are three people who are editing the same sheet. No visibility, no accountability, and revenue keeps leaking every single day. I have seen admissions team miss targets not because they didn't have enough leads, but because they knew which, rather I would say they never, nobody knew which leads needed attention and when. The leads were there, the system was not. The fix was not about hiring more people, it was not about spending more on marketing. It was about building one system, a pipeline that gave every person on the team complete visibility into exactly where every lead stood at that very moment. When I built this correctly at an EdTech company, conversion rates compounded month on month without adding a single person to the team. In this video, I am going to show you exactly how to build that system inside the OCRM from scratch. And I am going to show you the real admissions pipeline that I have used across multiple institutions, not the default generic stages that come with the tool and mean nothing to anyone actually running a business in India. If you are a founder and you are watching this, this is what your team should have built on day one. If you are a marketeer or an ops person building towards a leadership role, this is the skill that separates executors from strategists. Let's build it. So let's understand what a pipeline is and why it's critical to your business. So before we touch anything on Zoho, let me explain what a pipeline actually is at. Okay, and is at a business level, and we are not going to talk about textbook definitions. We are going to talk about the real pipeline. Okay, so first understand, a pipeline is your revenue visibility system. Think about this line again. A pipeline is your revenue visibility system. It tells you right now at this moment how much potential revenue is in your business, where each opportunity stands, what needs to happen next, and how much is likely to close this month. That's the last point in which boards or founders actually care about. Not how many leads came in, how much is going to close. Okay, so how much is going to close is your first, or let's say that's your most important business outcome here. Every potential customer moves through series of stages from first contact to final decision. Each stage represents a specific milestone, something concrete that has happened. A document was submitted, a fee was calculated, an offer was made, etc. etc. The lead moves to the next stage only when the milestone is complete, not when someone thinks it is complete, not when someone says they will follow up. It is actually done. That's the only time you do it. Okay, this is what creates accountability. I managed teams where pipeline was the single most powerful management tool I had. I didn't need weekly status meetings. I opened the pipeline and I knew exactly who was doing their job and where things were stuck. When I have built pipelines for admissions team, the first thing that changes is not the conversion rate. The first thing that changes is visibility. And visibility will drive everything else. This is what you are building today. Okay. So understand the importance of your role or your career outcome is about bringing the visibility at an organizational or a category level. Okay. Everything will follow after that. So we'll go on the default pipeline. Okay. What is there right now and why it's problematic. Okay. So have a look at this. It's qualification, need analysis, value proposition, price quote, negotiation review, identified decision makers, closed won, closed lost, application received. These are new ones which I have added. So, if you look at this, these may not be relevant according to your business. Okay, so qualification, need analysis, value proposition, etc. I want you to look at these stages and ask yourself one question: do any of these reflect how your business actually works? Now, these stages were designed for a generic B2B software sales process, probably in the US and probably in 2005. If you are running an EdTech admissions team in India, what does value proposition mean to your counselor? What does identified decision maker mean when you're talking to the parent about the child's future? Nothing. Why am I consider EdTech here? Because it's a more relatable example instead of softwares and other things. You may be getting calls from different companies or online test online educational e-learning businesses about enrolling to their course. So they may consider something like this here. Okay, you have to look at it in this way. So we will go ahead in that way only. So we will make changes today. Okay, and let's understand the business consequences of keeping this as it is. First, when your team does not understand the stages, they will not update them properly. And when they don't update them, your pipeline data is wrong. When your pipeline data is wrong, your forecast is wrong. When your forecast is wrong, you make the bad decisions about hiring, marketing spends, and revenue targets. I have seen this exact failure pattern in multiple organizations. A CRM that nobody uses because nobody customized it for the business. The single biggest reason CRM implementation fails in India is not the tool, it's because nobody did this work. Nobody sat down and translated the actual business process into pipeline stages. That's what we are doing right now. And you are in a leadership role. If you are in a leadership role or building towards one, this is the work that gets you noticed. Anyone can buy a CRM license. Very few people can make it drive business outcomes. Okay, we have to drive business outcomes here, and that's how we are going to make it right now. Okay, so let's fix this problem. So first of all, how do we see where the pipelines are? So to customize the pipeline, you can go here and you have two options. Either you check pipeline here, or I do it in this way. I go to layouts. In layouts, I go to deals. So let's open deals here. Okay, okay, it's already open on this side. Go to standard. So have a look at this. Now, what this layout means, I will come to later on. But what I will do right now is this. We'll talk about the stages here. Now, this is one place where I make changes. Okay, have a look at this. This is stage probability tracking. Okay, now let's understand what this percentage of probability means before we make any changes. So Zoho uses these probabilities to calculate how much revenue is likely to close this month. If you have a deal worth 5 lakh rupees in the proposal stage, means here in proposal stage, that means it's at 75% probability. So Zoho will count 3.75 lakhs towards your forecast. Multiply that across 50 deals, you have a revenue forecast that your leadership team can actually make decisions from. But this is critical that forecast is only as accurate as your pipeline stages. If your pipeline stages don't reflect the reality, your forecast doesn't reflect reality. Garbage in, garbage out. This is why getting the stages right is not a CRM admin task, it's a business strategy task. Understand, when you are going to build this thing, think like a business strategist who should be knowing how to use this tool and how it drives outcomes. Just don't look at it as something that you have to do here and complete. Learning a tool is one thing that definitely that you have to do, but you have to understand why you're doing it. Revenue outcome is your biggest target here, biggest consideration here. And while you're doing this, how will this drive the revenue is what you have to consider. So now we will all build this correctly. Okay, so how do we delete the stages? Basically, this is a sign where you can delete it. Then we delete all these stages. Okay, for example, so we deleted a lot of stages. We just kept the closed one and closed lost. Okay, now before I build the new stages, let me explain the thinking behind how I design pipeline stages, because this is a framework applies whether you are in EdTech, SaaS, real estate, or any other business. Every stage must pass three tests. First, it must represent a real action that has actually happened. Not, we think they are interested. No, we want something that is reliable, something that is verifiable, something that is concrete. Second, it must be very clear to every person on the team without explanation. If you have to train someone on what a stage means, the stage name is wrong. Understand, the people who are going to use this entire CRM, you have to make it very easy for them. They shouldn't be finding it difficult to understand what a stage means. Maybe one explanation is enough, but try to make it as easy as possible. Third, it must move the deal meaningfully closer to the revenue. Very important. Every stage should be going towards the revenue. Okay. When that means it should represent a genuine increase in the probability of closing. If a stage fails at any of these three tests, cut it or rename it. Okay, perfect. So now we will start here. Now I have created a few things. Like for example, uh, yeah, if you look at these, application received was created, application accepted for review was created, documents verified, fees calculated, ready for offer extension, offer extended. Now, I will tell you what these mean and what is the explanation behind them, and I will show you how to create one also. Okay, so it's very easy how to create one and how to rearrange them as well. So, when we talk about application received, why have we kept it at 10% only? Is because someone has just submitted an application. They show an intent, but nothing has been verified. We are at this low because at this point, many applicants will drop off before completing the process. From a business perspective, this stage tells you the top of the funnel volume, the tofu, how many applications are coming in. If this number drops, your marketing has a problem. Stage 2, application accepted for review. Okay, so what does this mean? The application has been reviewed and accepted for the next process. The team has made a conscious decision that this applicant is worth pursuing. Probability goes to 25% because you have done the first filter. Unqualified applications are already out. This stage also creates accountability. Someone has to own the review. The CRM shows you if the applications are sitting in the stage 1 for too long without moving, that process is a bottleneck which you can see and you have to fix. Stage 3 is documents verified. The applicant has submitted all the required documents, mark sheets, identity proofs, certificates, etc., and your team has verified them. This is a significant behavioral signal. Now, this is going towards the actual closure. The applicant who goes through the effort of gathering and submitting documents is genuinely interested, and that's why the probability jumps to 40%. From a management perspective, you have a lot of deals stuck here. You either have a documents problem or a follow up problem. The pipeline tells you which. So now fees calculated. The fee structure that has been shared with the applicant or their family. They now know exactly what they are committing to financially. When you talk about money, it's about a trust milestone. You have had the money conversation. More than half of the people who reach to this stage will convert. Hence 60%. I pay close attention to drop-offs between documents verified and fees calculated. If a lot of people are dropping here, your fee structure or how it is being communicated is the problem. The pipeline will make this visible. Okay, look at this. This is a very important cohort or a segment for you. Now, ready for offer extension. So what is this? Ready for offer extension. As we go down further, ready for offer extension. Okay, so everything is in order internally. The team has done all the checks. You are ready to make them a formal offer. This stage exists for a specific reason. It creates internal checkpoints before the offer goes out. Means basically you can say it's an approval at a level. In larger organizations or in larger admission teams, you may need an approval before extending an offer. The stage holds the deal while the approval happens. Three-quarters of the deals that reach this stage will usually close. Okay. Now you are very close to getting your revenue. Now it's offer extended. A formal offer letter has been sent. The applicant is reviewing it. At 85%, you're already there. The work now is follow up, making sure that the applicant has everything they need to say yes. Fast response time at the stage, fast response time at this stage directly impacts your conversion rate. Sorry. And the last one is admission confirmed. Now I had not done this, so I will just create this for you. Now this is at 95%, and again I'm just keeping it as open, or let's say open, and it's in pipeline. Okay. Now the applicant has accepted the offer. Fee payment may be pending, but the admission is confirmed in principle. Why I have said this 95%, not 100%, is because until the fee is actually paid, there is a small risk of dropout. So unless and until the money does not hit the account or the fees don't come in, you cannot say it's a closed conversion. Okay, so 5% is the probability of it may be missed. Then there is closed one at 100%, which we will need to bring down, or you can also call it as student enrolled. Now this is closed one. Okay, and then there is closed lost. So after going through all these stages, you can call it as offer rejected. Okay, now if you have to change the stages, now we did a while moving, so basically you have to just take it up and understand if it's in the right place. You can also enable color coding options here. Okay, so that's what it is. Student enrolled, all these things. Okay, now this is your CRM's first part which you have done. Okay, now you have built this 8 stages. Each one is a real milestone, each one with a probability that reflects actual conversion rate at the point in journey. This is not a CRM setup, this is your revenue architecture. Now we have done this. Viewing the new pipeline. Now we'll go back to deals. We have to save here first, or we can save and close. Hmm. Now we are in deals. So this I have kept first. I should have changed it to at another level, but have a look at this. Okay. As there is no revenue realized in multiple places, you can see this. We will move this later to the last stage. Okay, now we are viewing the new pipeline. Look at this pipeline. Every column has now become your real milestone. Okay, and your admission team now understands what every stage means without any explanation. And it is a genuine step forward towards the journey to get your revenue or get the final closure. Now imagine you are the head of admissions or head of revenue. You open this pipeline on a Monday morning. You can instantly see how many applications are at each stage. Okay, where the bottlenecks are, which deals haven't moved up in days, how much is confirmed revenue coming this month. No spreadsheet, no status meeting, no chasing people for updates. That's what a well built pipeline does. It gives the leadership the visibility they need to make decisions, and it gives the team a very clear system for their work within. This is the kind of system that gets you noticed in a leadership role, not because you know Zoho, because you understood the business process well enough to translate it in a system. Understand, you are supposed to build systems going ahead, and not just talk about how to build a CRM. Your CRM should be about creating a system. Now, how do we create your first deal? We'll go here. We'll create your first deal. So we'll call him Rahul Sharma, Startup Institute. Call it like this. And we can look at closing date somewhere in the month of May, maybe 13th May. Okay, we can go stage as application received. So look, it shows probability as 10. Okay, you can go in a description. Okay, now expected revenue we have not put in here. We can, this is the read only field, we'll have to make changes here, and we can just save it here. Okay, so Rahul Sharma is now your deal, and let's try it in new account. Just save it. Okay, have a look at this. One crucial detail that I missed here was this amount. Okay, now let's assume that the amount is 1,50,000. So look at the expected revenue. It shows 10%. Okay, now imagine that you have 200 applications a month. What your revenue potential will be can be calculated from this. You can get an idea from this basically. So you can look at this. This is a forecast. Okay, that's the number which you or your CEO or your management team would like to see on a Monday morning. So basically, have a look at this. Okay, now this is just created a student enroll, and so look, application received. Now, how do you move a deal? Basically, from that's the next stage we are going to look at. So let me show you how to move a deal forward as the process progresses. There are two methods. Method one, from inside the deal record. For example, we go here. Okay, and you can see this entire stage field. You can go here also and make changes. So application accepted for review. So basically now accepted for review, and we save it. It went to 25% probability at 37,500. The forecast updated at real time. Drag and drop. The method 2 is drag and drop in stage view. So basically you go back, Okay, and then you just drag it to the next stage. So change here, and that's where it is. Okay, so you have dragged it, and this is what can happen. Okay, this is a signal. So understand this. This is a conscious movement which is done by the counselor. So the manager doesn't need to ask anything. It all shows up in the system. Okay, so I have used this exact visual with leadership teams, pulling up pipeline on screen in a review meeting instead of going through the spreadsheet row by row. The conversation changes completely. Instead of what happened last week, we are going to talk about what is going to move forward next in the coming week or in this week. And this is what your leadership conversation is going to be, and it's all going to be about the pipeline. Now we will talk about business outcome. Let me be direct about is a built what is a properly built pipeline and what it does for your business. I have managed pipeline with hundreds of active deals across multiple teams and multiple brands. When the pipeline is built correctly and the team actually uses it, three things happen. First is the visibility. So I will just reduce the screen size here so that you can see. Have a look at this. Maybe a little bit here. Okay. So look at this. We here. Okay. First is the visibility. Every stakeholder, from the CEO to the frontline counselor, is going to see the same picture. Okay. No more conflicting versions of reality. No more, I thought the deal was almost closed. The pipeline is your single source of truth. Second is accountability. If a deal has not moved in last 7 days, okay, you can see the date here. Okay, so now this is the expected closure. If the deal has not moved in the last 7 days, it is visible to everyone. You don't need a performance review to find out someone isn't following up. The pipeline shows. That changes behavior. People update their deals because they know that the data is being washed. Third, the forecasting. Every stage represents probability. Zoho generates a revenue forecast automatically. I have used this forecast to make decisions about hiring, market spend, and the operational capacity. When your forecast says 40 admissions are going to close this month, okay, you staff accordingly. When it says 15 admissions this month, you adjust. This is not a CRM feature, this is a business intelligence capability. The leaders who can build this explain it to the board and drive accountability through it. These are the people who are actually hired at senior levels. That's what I'm documenting on this channel. Not how to click buttons. We are talking about building businesses or which are run by systems, or let's say we are creating the systems which run business. Okay, so now let's have a look at this. You'll see every detail here. So observe just one last time. Okay, there's unaccounted, there is close lost, everything will be here. So observe this one last time here, and now we will go back to our dashboard. So let's recap what we have built today. You understood why default pipeline stages fail most Indian businesses and business consequences of that failure. Okay, so now you understood that you have to customize the pipeline or else you will fail the business outcomes. Okay, and the business is going to suffer because we have not customized it. You built a custom pipeline from scratch, one that reflects the real process with the stages and the probability of what it actually means. You created your first deal, moved it through the pipeline, understanding what each stage movement means for your forecast and your team's accountability. And you now understand the difference between a CRM that collects dust and the CRM that runs a business. In the next video, I am going to take you or I'm going to show you how to take this pipeline to next level, how to set up automations when a deal moves from one stage to other, Zoho automatically sends the communications, assigns a task to your team, and notifies the right person. Zero manual work. The system runs itself. This is where your real leverage is, and it will soon come in the next video. Subscribe to Funnelwala so you don't miss it. Drop a comment below. Tell me what your industry you are in, what your pipeline looks right now. I read every comment. If enough people ask for a specific industry pipeline, retail, real estate, SaaS, healthcare, I will build this on this channel. See you in the next one. Thank you.